Well. As I've said 1,000 times before, when someone streams once, there's bound to be several more afterwards. And here we are. This time, OBS behaved. I had someone watch it for me because this happened in the middle of when I was trying to sleep, and I happened to see the stream in between waking up and falling back asleep, and I'm like, oh great. So I booted up the computer and it black screened, because of course it did. Windows had to update, because of course it did. And then I finally got it up and recording, and so the stream and OBS were the only things up, and hopefully it... well, I mean, it worked, but hopefully it never does whatever it did ever again, because... ugh. Anyway, so... yay! It works this time! Awesome! There's gonna be plenty of footage for you guys to see. I actually chopped out a ton of it as well. I think this recorded in 5 roughly half-hour sessions or something like that. And I cut out 2. I cut the first one so much it might as well be gone. You'll be seeing that now probably still. Some clips will play regular motion, others will be sped up like ×4 or whatever. And then there'll be a portion where it focuses on the tail that I allowed to just stay as it was, just sped it up a whole bunch. And then there should be a clip in between that shows a part of that in, you know, regular time TM. And then a portion that focuses more on the arms. And then the very last Cerato one should be, I think it was the very last animation he played before switching to something else. Which I'll talk about the something else's later. There's more Cerato footage to talk about here, so we're gonna do that instead. Anyhow, so because it's the animation sort of streams, there's a lot of repeating stuff or staying in the same place for a very, very long time. The reason the other, I think it was 2 sections, got cut out entirely is because there wasn't really anything, you know, new, so to speak. I kept the tail and the arms in, but the rest was just, it was itty-bitty tweaks. He tabbed out for a while to reference something, all that sort of stuff, so I can't have literally the whole stream, so we're, as usual, chopping it into pieces and keeping the most interesting parts, and I've sped them up for your convenience instead of having to watch, what was it, like 4 to 5 hours? I don't remember. Anyway, sped up Cerato motions, so he was working almost I think it was entirely on the same animation today. So I don't know what he was, I mean, there was the jump and stuff I missed yesterday, unfortunately, but today it was just the alt attack stuff, and it looks like he got it more or less looking, you know, normal. There might be some hand jankiness in the last one you'll see, but it's better than some of the other issues he had. There was, one clip that'll hopefully play around this time, who knows, I'm not timing this, I don't care. The poor Cerato's entire skull just, like, crushed in on itself, and so he had to tab out and do something weird and fix it, and its neck stretched at one point, and it was a mess. Animation is a world that I'm glad I didn't end up getting too far into. I took classes way back in the day, but I never went like deep into it. It's times like that where I'm kind of glad I didn't, because as it is, the stuff I'm into, having to repeat stuff again and again and having stuff go critically wrong seemingly for no reason is it's frustrating. Yeah. So anyway, we got some of that. Most of it, this stream was tweaking stuff, you know, adjusting where the weight sits, adjusting where the tail goes, how much the tail moves. The arms were a big one. He had to adjust those a lot because they kept either going inside of the Cerato's body or jiggling around like little noodles. It was it was pretty amusing. It should have most of, if not all of that. But anyhow, it was a lot of that sort of stuff. I mean, it's typical animation stuff. There wasn't any of the heat mapping stuff this time, but I imagine he probably did that in a prior stream that I missed for reasons. But hey, this one was pretty cool. I like seeing Cerato in motion, even if it's the same animation this time around. It was still fun. It was nice to see him. Good to see Cerato getting some work. Hopefully it'll be soon TM, but we know how that goes. Anyway, that aside, Cerato in motion. That's it, that's the stream. There was a lot of adjustments, things of that nature, which are always interesting to see, at least for me. I mean, I imagine most of you are the same, or else you wouldn't have bothered clicking on this, but yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, just how much effort goes into these animations is pretty neat, even if sometimes it goes in the wrong direction, as we've seen with Carno before, but in this case, honestly, I'm pretty happy with it so far. It looks nice. It doesn't look overly bird-like, which is what this guy's known for doing with his animations. He hasn't done that with Cerato. You can see the way he moves. I really like it, at least so far anyway. I mentioned the head bob in the prior one, and I mean, it's kinda there, but it's not as egregious as it has been in some of the prior ones. I think, again, it was Carno that just kept moving its head around as it walked, and I'm like, he's gonna get brain damage, son. Why would you do that? But Cerato doesn't seem to have that problem, at least not for now, so I am pleased. I am satisfied. Again, since it's the same animation, there's not a whole lot to comment on it, and frankly, I am absolutely exhausted. Because, as I said, this stream showed up at a time. I was in between. I'd been asleep for a few hours and I woke up, as always. And I checked my phone because I knew the stream chances are high. So I checked it, nothing was there. I got up, went to do something, came back, stream, and then I already told the story of what happened after that. But thankfully I had someone else to look at the stream stuff as I tried and failed to get back to sleep for the next 4 hours. And eventually did get a few more hours, but I think it was like 2. So it feels like The Walking Dead or something right now. I'm absolutely just fried. But that's what this sort of thing does. I whined about it a bit to some friends yesterday, and I'm gonna do it again here, because I know most of you are of the same mind. The fact that there's no set schedule, the fact that there's no VODs, the fact that there's no anything, it takes a third party to end up recording, chopping it up, and posting it somewhere for a majority of people to actually see it. Because a lot of you guys are in a different time zone, or a lot of you guys are at work. Like, the time this was posted, I think it was 10 a.m. to, what was it, 12? No, not 12, 1, 2? Anyway, it was a fair few hours, but it was during prime work hours in my country, and a fair few of the people watching this channel are in the same country. So it's like, well, that's not helpful. And then the other top percentage within this channel watchage are in other countries, and I don't know their time zones as well, but a lot of Europeans seem to be almost reversed of my time zone. So I'm like, is this like friggin' 2 a.m. for them or something? Like, some people are gonna see it. I would've if it were at 2 a.m. But not everyone's a decrepit, wretched thing within a basement that has a weird schedule and a weird job. So the normal people out there, the normal fans, aren't going to be able to see most of this, because most of the normal ones have normal time jobs, normal time lives, and sleep at normal hours. So it's like, sorry guys, you're gonna miss this animation thing because there's no way to see it, unless someone recorded it and posted it like you're seeing right now. And even I chop out good chunks of it, because I can't literally just post the whole thing, and I never have literally posted the entire thing. I always chop out a good chunk of it, because, I mean, that's how it works. But anyway, so it's more of a highlight reel, what you're seeing now, and a lot of it's sped up, because again, time. I can only talk for so much, and I have to, or else, yeah. So I don't need to go into that. You guys understand how it works by now, or at least the ones who have been around understand how it works by now, and you're able to slap the wrists of other people who are like, hey, why don't you just show the clips silently like you used to? Because I got a nastygram, that's why, so please, just don't. Anyway. So, yeah, it's a lot of the system should be better. I don't know how other companies do it because I've only seen a few others do live streams, but there's no reason to just yeet the VOD, just have it be gone forever when a majority of people can't see it because it's only for a few hours in a very inconvenient time for most people. I mean, sure, for some people it's going to be convenient because I think he still gets a good amount of people watching it. However, there's the thousands that end up watching this video who disagree and are like, hey, I couldn't make it, thank you for posting this. Stuff like that. That's the reason I keep doing these. It's absolutely exhausting. Let me tell you what. And I don't want to just whine the whole time, however I do need to... There's a lot of footage here, guys, and I can only say so much about literally the same animation with small adjustments. Like, I can go step by step about, oh, the foot's being shifted, or the weight's tilting, but no, then I'd have to line both of them up, and it's sped up, so I'd have to talk incredibly fast, which I already do fast enough, and then I trip over my words, and then you get stuff like before, when I just had to go, I become the pig from the Porky of the Looney Tunes. But anyway, you guys know how it is. I'm not gonna talk about it. We move on. I wish the system was better, because if I miss a stream like I did the last time, other people cover it. So again, and there's some channels who haven't been found and Nastygrammed yet. I cannot say where those are or anything of that nature, however they exist. Because I'll still get comments to this day saying, oh yeah, I saw this a few hours ago, and I'm like, good for you, there's multiple coffee shops on a street. That's how the world works, we have multiple things. That's just how it is. There will be multiple people who post the same thing. That's literally YouTube in a nutshell. Different people are gonna have different clips. Like, I cut out over an hour of footage, and someone else is probably gonna have that same hour or so that I cut. So you guys will be able to see it somewhere else. That's just how it works. Like, again, with the coffee shop thing, there's gonna be multiple coffee shops downtown. You go to each one and there's gonna be something different. There's gonna be a lot of overlap. Like, they're gonna have your little chai lattes and cafe mocha thingy-majiggies. Gonna have hot chocolate. Haha, my favorite. That's what I go to a coffee shop for, not the coffee. The hot chocolate. Wonderful. But anyway, you have people like that who want a certain thing, and you're gonna find it. You might not find it here. I might not have included some specific thing that you're looking for, in which case, oops, but also that's just how it is. So you go to a different video, and so on and so forth. I mean, again, it's YouTube. If you don't like something here, you can go find it in another spot. If you don't like something over there, you can come here and maybe there's something you like here. That sort of stuff. Such is the way of any sort of art. And you'll get the same thing when you draw something and it's like, oh yeah, I saw this, but it was done better by someone else. And it's like, great, thanks. I'm still gonna post my version. I mean, mine's gonna be a little different. And it might not be as good. In fact, it probably won't be. However, that's the only way you get better, is by continuing to do stuff and making adjustments here and there. And slowly but surely you improve, and you might become a minuscule amount of skilled in whatever craft you're doing. Or you might continue to suck at it for the rest of your life. Who knows? But I'm going to continue on anyway, because I might as well. There's people who rely on these ones, or else I wouldn't... Without the comments going, hey, I thank you for posting this, I missed it, and without this channel I wouldn't have been able to see this, that, or the other, I would have stopped eons ago. Because, let me tell you what, I don't do this out of passion. That ship sailed long ago. But that said, the stream stuff has always been that way. Like, it's not because of the recent, rehaul that I had to do. It's just always been tiring. Going through hours and hours of footage and then trying to decide which is the best to keep versus which should go. I don't like having to moderate what people see in a way. It feels like only I get to see this stuff no one else gets to, but you can't literally post, you know, the whole stream because it's stupid. You can't do that. So it feels something like that, and that's not the way I ever intended. I just try to find the most interesting spots and, you know, use those. However, my idea of interesting isn't going to be everyone else's idea of interesting, which is why we have, again, what I mentioned before about, you know, different people posting different videos. Someone else over there is going to think this section was interesting where I thought it was boring and just like everything else, so I skipped it. Or I didn't notice it. I mean, I skimmed these. That's hours of, I think it was, again, it was like 10 something to 1 something, so that's hours of footage, and as it is, I already have to record something, edit something, etc, etc. I don't have a whole lot of time. I gotta try and get this out as soon as I can. So, yeah. And I'm exhausted on top of that, so... Oh boy, it's something, let me tell you what. It's tiring, but it's what I signed up for in the end, and I enjoy helping people out. Because as I've said before, I've been on the other side of it, where you couldn't make the streams and you relied on someone else to post something. And especially with Cerato, I would have been just on the edge of my seat waiting to hear more about the stream that I couldn't see because I was asleep during the whole time and I couldn't make it, or I was at work, or whatever else. And so I'd be just sitting there, refresh, 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 where is it, where is it, where is it? I want to see my Cerato, I want to see my baby, but, so, yeah. I know how it's like, what it's like to be on the other side, and not everyone knows how to find those other channels, or all those other things, and certain ones I wouldn't point towards anyway, because 1, they might get an Instagram, 2, it could be clickbait, or that starts to get into the subjective territory, and we don't go there. But anyway, yeah. Some people don't like the way other people do news channels, and I can't blame them. And I'm not saying I am just better by default doing it the way I do, because I'm not. However, this is the way I've chosen to do it with the cards I was dealt. This is what I've chosen to do with them. And I try not to clickbait as best I can. I try to offer what I can while also transforming it enough that it can't be taken down. Because we've already seen, I've posted the clips, some of the devs don't like their stuff being reposted. However, they can't do anything if it's transformed enough, which is why we have what we have here. As long as it's changed enough, which is... it should certainly be by now. I think I've gone well beyond the point of the Cerato section being done. However, I like to try to spread it out at least a little bit. I did less this time, which I'll mention again at some point, but I try to do it at least a little bit because sometimes YouTube can be finicky. There's times, usually it's with big companies. I think smaller ones it's less likely to happen, but it's possible. But with big companies, even sections that fall well under fair use, the YouTuber can, in theory, be bullied into having to take it down or risk getting a strike on the channel and then having to redo the video. I don't think that would be a problem here. However, I'd rather be safe than sorry, to be honest. I don't want to have to redo this. That's a lot of time that I don't want to spend. Because as it is, I get paid to an extent to do these. However, I spend more time than what I get back. It's closer to a labor of love, although I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say I love it, but it's something. I mean, I enjoy helping people, and that's basically the only reason it's still done. It's definitely not the money, because you don't get enough to really benefit from doing this, and I lose so much sleep, it's definitely not worth it. In that regard, I should say. But I enjoy helping people, and again, I've been on the other side of it, so I want to keep doing it for as long as I can mentally withstand the weight of having to do it or collapse from exhaustion. We'll see what happens first. But anyway, let's get going. Let's get that bread. Let's get the rest of it done because I've got to edit all this. So now we get to move on to the fun stuff that is different from just the same Cerato animation 50 times over, which is why so much was cut and more might follow. We get a surprise appearance from Herrera in this one, and Oviraptor and Gallimimus, but Herrera came first, so we're going to talk about Herrera first. So, Herrera I didn't expect to see at all. Surprise. The walk animation is going to be played at regular speed. The tweaking he was doing with like the dewlap and all that stuff is going to be sped up because it was a lot of just poking and prodding and stuff. But I hope he can in-game make the dewlap go up because it looks kind of funky. Like, it'd be fun as part of like, you know, a mating thing. You know how Nolies will like have the little neck thing go whoop, whoop, that sort of thing. It'd be nice to do that in the game itself rather than just, you know, here, because he kind of makes it go up here, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool to do. Not to say I would do it often anyway, because I really like the dewlap that they put on Herrera, and it looks a lot nicer in motion, too, than it does in still picture, as things generally do. His walk looks nice so far. I mean, it's a walk cycle. It doesn't look like obnoxiously weird or anything. Nothing's like super out of place or anything like that. It looks normal, at least to me. I mean, other people, again, have different opinions, but to me, it's a walk. It looks fine. On Oviraptor, first we have almost what reminds you of the Gmod texture error, except it's black and white instead of purple and black. And then we have our beautiful colored Oviraptor. I really love the colors on Oviraptor. I mentioned it in a video I haven't posted yet, actually, so never mind, I haven't mentioned it. I love the colors on Oviraptor. I don't care for Oviraptor itself, but I really, really like the color scheme they went for. But, you guys can tell my color biases by now, I'm sure. So it's literally no surprise to anyone that I like the colors on the Oviraptor. The overall design of it, it's fine. I mean, it's Oviraptor, I guess, so it's there. I don't care for Oviraptor, but it looks nice, so there we go. Gallimimus up next. It looks like it was an attack animation, kicky, and then some walking. This one I allowed to play at regular speed, which I did with Oviraptor before. I should have probably mentioned that, but anyway, this was the speed he had it during the stream. It's not a whole lot, so I figured just I might as well let it play out as it did. Any slowdowns and speed-ups you see are gonna be on his end, not mine. Didn't do it. Those were all him. But anyway, so we got to see some Gallimimus. And it's another one that I don't care too much for. It's just not my thing. Which is in another video I haven't posted. I've mentioned the concept art review one a lot in the past in like the community posts and stuff. And I have been working on it a little bit, but there's been some other stuff that keep popping up, and I want to shave it down more because I talk a lot. In this one it's a lot of forced talking because I want to try to keep it on topic. However, in that case it's a lot of it's less forced because it's something I actually care about. However, it's a lot of talking, so I want to try to narrow it, shave it, destroy a lot more of it, but I'll have to see what I can do. Anyway, that's for another time. Gallimimus run. That's most of it, and honestly, I cut it a bit short because it was just Gallimimus run for a very, very long time, and then the stream cut out, and that was it. So, overall thoughts on all of this. It was good. It was alright. I mean, it was an animation stream, and unfortunately this time around it was the same animation. So I'll probably shorten the tail section and the arm section that I mentioned being fully intact, and so they won't be fully intact anymore. Because they're not super long. They're sped up like ×4, so I think it ends up being like 6 minutes. However, it's still pretty long, so I'll probably shorten those a bit, because again, it is the exact same animation, just with tweakage, and I enjoy watching the tweaking, and I know you guys enjoy watching the tweaking, or else again you wouldn't be here. However, yeah, we'll see. It depends on the voiceover and everything else, because, as I've said, there's only so much I can do, and it has to be done I've said that again, and you guys know how it works by now. If I don't do it right, then YouTube can, in theory, be summoned to strike the video down in all its wrath. So, yeah, I've got to try to change it up as best I can. But there might be some moments of silence, we'll see. There will definitely be a point at the ending, which should be by now, that will be playing my own footage because, again, I've got to have some mix and match stuff. As it is, I played his entire, well, again, not the entire stream, but this section of the stream I didn't break up. I played it all in, what is it, 30, no, less than 30 minutes. So it was, the stream portion was all one go in about 30 minutes. Usually I try to break it up, which you guys have seen. I'm going to try and tweak it bit by bit, see how it goes. So his stream portion will play all at once at the start, and then at the end, as usual, I have the part where I summon my thoughts and ramble about whatever happens to be on my mind at the time. And believe me, it's not for video length because I have to, well, we'll see if I move the picture today because honestly I'm exhausted. I have to edit all this, so I mean, the more I talk, the more I have to edit it. And you guys would not believe how much I have to edit it because I suck at talking. Well, you still get me sucking at talking, but it sucks a little less than in the raw form where I trip over my words 5 times, or I forget the word I was trying to say and I have to sit there like dead silence, stares up, what was the word, that sort of thing. Thankfully that didn't happen this time, but I did trip over my words a fair few times because that's how it be. But anyway, looping back to thoughts, it was okay. Again, it was the same animation because I missed the prior stream where he worked on mini animations that probably would have had a lot more substance to it. Because then I could have talked about, you know, the jump a bit more and the bite a bit more and all that stuff. I just skimmed over it the last time because, frankly, I didn't have a whole lot to work with. I just had the final product. I wish I could have seen more of the work in progress, but it's gone reduced to atoms. I'm sure other people have it in their videos, but I'm not going to go scrounging around for those, like I said. Usually I just skip it, but because there were clips of the final the final animations, I was like, okay, we'll use some clips. There we go. But today we've got the whole thing. It's a lot of... I said earlier, it's very amazing to me just how much work goes into movements like this that, you know, at a glance, it seems pretty simple. But the way the weight has to be adjusted, like where the body moves, the arms... It's a lot of what to do with your hands situation, like, would he... In theory, he could have just pressed him against the body and been lazy like that, but no, Cerato actually moves his little arms a little bit as he's moving around. And I like how it, at least to me, it looks like a, looks like he's trying to kind of, you know, push him down, like, use them. He's not actually using them, but, you know, it's in the same motion of his head's going up and going down, and his arms are going up and going down. And I kind of like it. It's cute, but also it's like he's trying to use everything he's got, even if the arms aren't doing anything. I mean, it's how even people are to an extent. Like how some people, when they're playing a, like a console game, or sometimes even on PC as well, if you're trying to look at something at a certain angle, you'll lean in real life further or closer or to the sides, trying to get a better look at it, but it won't change your perspective unless it's VR, but we're not talking about VR. It's not going to change anything. Or if you're turning a corner in like a racing game, some people will lean. It's stuff like that. Like, you're making a certain movement in a game, and so in real life, some people will try to, like, make it more forceful by, like, moving forward or tilting to the side. Stuff like that. That's what the arm movement makes me think of. Like, he's doing something with his head, and his arms are kind of mimicking it. At least that's what comes to my mind. I know other people will have their other opinions, but to me, that's that's what it felt like. And I mean, for all I know, he might be able to use his cute little arms in something or another. It'd be nice if he did, but I doubt he will. I think that's gonna be more of a Spino and... No, just Spino. I mean, there's Theory and stuff, but Theory's obvious. Spino's a little less obvious. Like, Spino's still got his big head he can use, but the swole arms are another thing he'll have access to. Wasn't Aloe the one... There was a stream I did eons ago, and we were looking at a concept art. I think it was Allosaurus, and he had these swole arms. But we know Aloe's, well, supposedly gonna have a grapple. Who knows if it actually will, but supposedly Aloe will have a grapple, and that would be nice to see him use those swole arms. Cerato, I don't think he's gonna be able to use them too much. But it's still, it's cute movement. It's a little bit of, it's a something. I like to see it. Instead of him just pressing them against his body and just hanging them there like a Carno or something, he's, you know, he's moving them. I like it. Whether or not it stays, don't know. It could be a work in progress portion, but for me, it's amusing. It's something. But, let's see, Herrera, it was nice to see him. I love his colors. They look a lot better in... I don't know if they're gonna be this vibrant or not, because his render was sorta... It looked a little pale, if I'm remembering it right. No, I'm not gonna go look at it right now, but if I'm remembering right, it looked a little pale. I like the dark, deep green we have here, and the colors and stuff here. Again, it could be just the shader he's using in the animation thing, but it was nice to see him in motion and all that, and I like the vibrancy of the crest on his head. Well, I should say it was called crest in the Legacy, the male colors. I think it's called detailing now, something like that. Anyway, I like the red, how it pops. I really like it. Oviraptor, I've already talked about it. I like the colors and stuff. I don't care for Oviraptor, but I mean, it's nice. It moves and looks how I would expect it to. And then Galli, again, Galli. Nothing much to say. The attack looks nice. I like the full body usage when he was doing his kick thingy-majig. But the run looks as expected. I mean, not much to say. It's Galli. And I think that's where I can cut this because I am absolutely exhausted and I still have to edit all this. So, have a great day, night, whatever time it is in your time zone when you see this. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Have a great weekend, all that fun stuff. And goodbye!
Thank you.